Padres are out.
They are.
And now we have to sadly watch the Dodgers go to another. What are the conference?
NLCS.
That.
National League Championship Series.
And they play.
Gotten to baseball. He's been named.
And they play your boys right there. The METS Mets.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, cover that up. There you go. Let's get a little preview of that. AJ, what do you think about Mets versus?
I'll be back in just a little bit. I'm gonna get up.
All right.
Because of the shit he was saying beforehand. I can't stand.
Well, he's gonna repeat it now.
Up, dude.
Oh man, look at here, Mets fans. The Cinderella story ends in the championship series. All right. I think you can only ride this high for so long. And if I'm the Dodgers, let's see Lindor. He gets up. Fuck it, walk him. Because that's the only guy doing something nowadays. So I'm on 450. Give me that. Pete his ass. Vientos his ass.
No ball. Zero.
This team is riding the highest of highs right now after beating the Phillies.
So they're gonna come back down to earth.
Yes, clearly they're gonna come back down. I think when you look at the Dodgers, the only team that was really gonna give them a threat in the National League was the Padres. Those in-division games we saw last year. They struggled with them. And I think once you get outside of the division games, which is you looked at it from the outside and you said, hey, the Phillies are probably going to whoop the Mets. I knew it was going to be a tough series for them. Those in-division series are no joke. That team just as good as the other teams in the division. But once it gets outside of that, it's a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think all that steam that they were carrying throughout, they beat the Braves in division. They beat the Phillies in division.
They beat the Brewers.
Oh, the Brewers, my bad.
They beat the Braves. Thing was to get.
Yeah, my bad. That's where I was being mixed. But I think once you beat the Phillies, that's that high that.
I think AJ's cooking a little bit.
I don't even know who they fucking beat.
I'll give the Mets one game. All right, I'll be happy enough to give them one game. Dodgers in 5.
Dodgers in 5. Wow, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, guys. So we're gonna. I'm sorry to do this to you, right now.
Good.
Okay.
I need you to cook.
I hope our editor is ready with the bleep button.
No, there is no bleep button. This isn't for fucking kids. Let's go ahead and start here. Francisco Lindor is the only person to produce for that team.
Yeah.
Apparently you didn't watch any of the games because Vientos has been the best hitter on that team in the postseason. I don't know if you missed the fact that he hit 7 or 8 extra base hits against that Phillies team.
Mm-hmm.
How many games did they play? 4? Or 7 to 8 extra base hits in 4 games good?
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I thought so. How about the strongest part of the Mets, their starting rotation? Now, I understand when you say these names in the years prior, you'd say that's kind of gross. Now, you wouldn't say that's kind of gross to Kodai Senga.
That's kind of gross. It's kind of gross.
Because you don't know ball at all. You didn't even know what the NLCS was.
Sorry.
I do, and in all honesty,
You pissed him off.
it sucks. But you would say it's kind of gross saying David Peterson, but injuries is a problem with him in the years past. He's been shown flashes. You would say gross to Sean Manaea and Jose Quintana.
Yep.
Severino's kind of in the same boat as Peterson. He's been hurt the past few years. He was decent for the Yankees. Got that injury bug. I will say the one thing that worries me, I don't know if he'll be able to correct it, is Edwin Diaz. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to come up here and say that the Mets are for sure going to win the series. I don't think the Mets win in 5. I honestly was told and prepared for the Mets to go all 5 with the Phillies and probably lose. Now, this is where you kind of, get me off guard here. Because I don't know if you know this, but from the 7th hole, the 8th hole, and the 9th hole, do you know who had the most runs driven in during the regular season from those? Here, I'll answer for you. It's the Mets. You said the hot wave that they've been on.
Yeah.
Like it's been the last week. They've been the best team in baseball since July. I don't know if you know that, but we're in October.
Record, yes.
So if you go January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So you go July, August, September, and October.
Okay.
So when does this go from being, oh, they're really hot to, oh shit, actually, you know what, the Mets are, now they didn't start well, but the Mets actually might have figured out they might be good. I mean, there's only 2 teams in the NL left. They're obviously good. Obviously good.
The riding the wave, the playoff wave.
Momentum's a real thing.
It is.
Momentum's a real
I'm
thing.
just saying.
Why?
I'm just saying, it can only take you so far, and I think this is where that stop ends.
And when you meet the Dodgers, might be a reality check.
The other thing I have, the Mets obviously beat up on pitching. The Mets scored 7 in the first game against the Phillies. They scored 6 in the second game against the Phillies. They scored 7 in the third game against the Phillies. And then they scored 4, all thank you to Francisco Lindor. The Mets also have an OPS of 1,700, I think, in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Now, you're, like we said earlier, you're a baseball fan, right? Cool. What's a good OPS? 800, 900?
Yeah, I would say so.
So 1,700 is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making.
Okay. But can we get back to? I didn't get this idea that look at the Dodgers bullpen the last 2 games. We saw what they did again in Game 4, going the whole stretch with giving up no runs to the Padres, and then look at what they did today, shutting the door on Game 5.
The Brewers bullpen not good.
Look at what. I mean, you really only got Devin Williams, but let's be honest. That's besides the point. But the point that I'm trying to
They score their runs on.
okay, they didn't. You know, Pete ran into one.
Yeah, 35 home runs that he ran into.
He ran into one.
How many home runs? How many home runs was the home run leader for the Angels this year?
That's besides the point. We're talking about the Mets
30
and the Dodgers
runs
here.
ran into one.
We're talking about the Mets and Dodgers. And look at the strongest point for the Dodgers right now. It's their bullpen. And I know you said from the 6th inning to the 9th that they have the best OPS of the postseason. But when you look at the Dodgers bullpen, it's been dominant. So I think if the pitching can get you there to the 6th, look at what the bullpen's been able to do.
That's fair, but
That's my argument.
But also, if you were to argue that way, do you think the Mets bullpen just takes us, or not bullpen, the Mets, yeah, their bullpen too, fuck it, except for Diaz. The Diaz doesn't even pitch that much. One of the problems Diaz has is he can't get into much of a rhythm because down the stretch, the Mets were either blowing teams out or losing.
Mhm.
So he didn't get that much work. So that's where some of his inconsistency, ever since he came back from injury, he hasn't gotten that premium closer work.
Yeah.
But are you just saying that the Mets pitching just forgets how to pitch? What, Mike? Like I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Because obviously, Shohei Ohtani,
Mhm.
elite hitter,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Well, are Shohei Ohtani's numbers good against lefties? I'm assuming they're pretty good.
They're not bad.
They're not bad. I'm assuming they're pretty crazy because it's Ohtani.
Yeah.
But you have Ohtani, Bex, Freeman, Teoscar. Will Smith did hit a home run during that series, but if we go off the regular season, Will Smith did down year. I think Will Smith is still an unbelievable catcher.
Right.
Flip over to someone like the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber, good at baseball. Not Shohei Ohtani, but good at baseball.
Right.
Trey Turner, good at baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper, good at baseball.
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos, he may not be good fielding, but he can hit the baseball. JT Realmuto, is he good? I don't know.
Usually good.
Well,
He wasn't great in the playoffs, but
usually they play.
if we're the Mets, like, hey, I told you when you play division games, our division matchups, I feel like statistics just goes out the window.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
But I'm a little confused on how you look at someone like how hot the Mets are and the Dodgers, who obviously were hot enough to get by the Padres, where you get this game like tonight.
Yeah.
You get this game like tonight, where by the 5th inning, that game was over.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, Padres looked defeated, or maybe I just said earlier, but the Padres looked defeated. They didn't look like they were coming back. That's not what you're going to get with the Mets.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Mets are going to win in 4, the Mets are going to win in 5, the Mets are going to win in 6. I'm not saying the Mets are going to win.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that this is the AL. If the Tigers win tomorrow, in my opinion, if the Tigers win tomorrow, it's kind of pointing in that direction because Scooble's dog.
Yes.
If the Yankees or the Tigers, because the Tigers look good, they're pitching. can get that series done quick, they're going to be licking their chops at the fact that I think this game is going to be a dogfight, or this series is going to be a dogfight. I don't think this is going to be a 4-0 Dodgers where the Dodgers just clean shop and make the Mets look like a minor league baseball team. I don't think this is going to be 4-1 and the Dodgers make the Mets look like a minor league baseball team. In my total opinion, I don't think this is going to be. This is going to be a 4-2 where every game is hard fought. No matter which one wins, the Dodgers or the Mets, this is either going to be a 4-2 or 4-3 series. I don't think you're going to see Game 6 and Game 7 in this series. I think that it stacks up that way. The Mets are almost the opposite of the Padres. They're completely resilient. They have a lot of momentum, but there's been times where that momentum has dropped. I mean, look at the Mets were losing to the Braves, right? They made an outstanding comeback, took the game, took the lead by 3, gave it all back up, and then Lindor saved it. But that's your team. That's the thing that I was talking about with the Padres, where you got to get a guy on for your guy.
Yeah,
The Mets did.
hey, they did.
And Lindor has to just, it's Francisco Lindor. I mean, I don't want to say it's normal because he's not like this super power hitter. He's a shortstop, but it's just kind of what he's been doing. So I think that it just lines up really well. You got the Dodgers, who I think in almost every single game will come out to will lead first, but the Mets are 4-0 while trailing in playoff games this year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I think you could see some of that in this. I think you're going to see a lot of early Dodgers leads where the Mets fight back. And I'm almost certain in saying that the games that the Mets do win, the Dodgers are leading at the beginning and even into the 5th and 6th. You know, I joked around in our group chat. I said that the Mets offense doesn't wake up until the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Or they just blast the Phillies for 8 runs in like the 5th, and then that's it. I don't know. I just don't see it being a quick, easy series where you just wipe away the Mets like they weren't even there, and the Dodgers stroll into almost fully rested in the World Series.
I'm hoping that's not the case. Well, as far as, it being a breeze, but I mean, we'll see. I think it's gonna be a fun series. Obviously I think the Dodgers are gonna win, but that doesn't mean that these games are gonna be entertaining. So that's just my take.
It sounded like it 4-1. Sounded like. All right, we're going to go off that.